Hello, this is Isaac from Turn Sounds. Don't tie your shoelaces together before long jumping.
Welcome to Just Keep Walking. This is a podcast focused on the Walking Dead TV show, and today we're going to be discussing Season 10, Episode 22, the sort of unofficial season finale. Here's Negan. And I'm your host, Negan. Ben, joined by...
Liam.
Also, Isaac.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys, for coming on today. We're about a week after the episodes come out, and this has given us a bit of time to think about it a bit more than usual. So yeah, I'm very keen to hear your guys' reactions and thoughts for the episode. But before we get too far into things, this show is produced by Turn Sounds, and do you want to give our official Turn Sounds spoiler warning, Isaac?
I was gonna say, I didn't know we had an official Turn Sounds greeting theme. Okay, spoilers ahead.
Yeah, we kind of just make it up as we go for the most part, but that's something that's always consistent. So, yeah, anyway, there we go. Turn Sounds, head to turnsounds.com if you'd like to get in touch or find out more about our other shows. And we're pretty much just going to dive straight into it. So, yeah, thank you for joining us today. Who wants to go first? Liam?
Why not?
All right, cool. Well, why don't you let us know what were your overall thoughts on the episode? Just like a 30-second or so
30 seconds?
recap.
Alrighty, let's get it. I loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was great to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan back into the villainous Negan role, but also seeing the evolution outside of that. So sort of coming to grips with, this part of me exists, but that's not who I am. That doesn't define me. So yeah, and you see the little smirk at the end. Like you see, okay, we've got that old Negan back, but he's not a complete goose.
Yeah.
So no, I loved it. I thought it was a brilliant episode.
Absolutely. Awesome. Isaac?
100% on board. Man, what a finale. That's all I can say, really.
Yeah.
As always, we'll talk about it, but it was satisfying, it was well acted, the music was great, the story was great. The bits of action that we got, the little metaphors. I've started looking for metaphors now, thanks to you.
Definitely more so in these bonus episodes, especially. Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, I was a fan.
Nice. Good to hear. Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, definitely the same for me. I suppose we all had high expectations, and yeah, definitely it wasn't disappointing at all. Yeah, the only thing I can say different to what you guys have said maybe is that I guess it was just like, for me, it ticked the box, but it didn't blow my mind or do anything different to I guess what I was expecting. I'll just turn up that channel as well. Hey, Isaac?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Just in the sense, I guess also like it's a part of Negan's story, but we didn't get the whole story. Like we weren't quite seeing how he became Negan. We saw bits of it, but part of definitely maybe where my head's at is like, how does this affect the story now, and does it justify Negan's actions at all? So that's maybe something for down the line. It could be interesting to see him rising to power and when he started to make those compromises of he kills someone and then it saves a pile of other people. And so it'd be interesting maybe to see where he gets this idea that you have to kill people in order to save people.
Yeah.
And, so that was maybe the only thing that didn't like blow me away. Or it felt like there was maybe more to the story. But that's just looking for something to comment on. But yeah, really loved it overall. The acting was awesome. I love the two together. And yeah, just... very enjoyable episode. Something different.
Is his wife an actor as well?
Yes. Yeah. I haven't seen her in much, but yeah, I think mostly a few different TV shows. One Tree Hill, I don't even know what it is, but I think she had a big part in that.
Yeah.
What is that?
No, my sister used to watch that a lot. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There we go. Yeah, but I have actually been reading, she's brought out a book recently called The Rural Diaries, because the two of them live on a big farm in America. So yeah, it's been interesting just sort of learning a bit more about her and the two, and there are some nice little parallels and things in here as well to that. So yeah, I guess going through chronologically, first off, we are really following off this timeline and seeing what's happening with Negan. And Carol, who promised that he would be part of the community and now just brings him and outcasts him to
What
to
a
an old
shock.
shack. Yeah.
More of a shed, really.
Yeah, okay. This again. No way. This is the shack. Yeah. Oh, okay, sorry.
He's number 3.
Oh, okay. No,
There you
you're
go.
number 3.
I'm channel 3. I'm headphone 2. It's a
What?
That's my fault. I should have switched it around at the back.
No, all good. Okay,
Sorry, I
so
was trying to be subtle.
in case I didn't edit this out, we've just got a new desk and we're working it out. But bear with us, and hopefully things will be sounding better already. Okay. So yeah, I guess that kind of sums up. I don't really have to ask you guys how you feel about Carol doing that, but do you think it's justified at all with Maggie coming into the picture now that we can't really keep Negan around? Liam, any thoughts?
It's an interesting question, given, to put it very bluntly,
Yeah.
he bashed her husband's
Yeah.
brains out with
Yeah.
a baseball bat in front of her.
Yeah.
How do you really come back from that? Yes, we see the change and we see the growth. Maggie, for one, hasn't experienced that, but even if she had, that's never going to go away, what he did. I mean,
Sure.
yeah, it's an interesting thing.
I got kind of a controversial opinion on that.
Yeah, go for
A
it.
little bit. Like, so we already, I mean, we understand anyway that, no one's beyond redemption, right?
Huh.
Regardless of what he's done. But it's kind of like Maggie seems to be, I say holding on like it's something trivial, but okay, he killed her husband and he tried to like wife her as well, like against her will.
I don't know if he tried to necessarily. Like he talked about it, but then they tricked him and made him think that she was dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he probably would
He
have.
probably would have. Yeah.
So, but then if you also got to take into account that he was horrible to so many other people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're able to,
Well, the fact that he had wives is
yeah.
enough of a.
that's it.
Yeah.
But at some point you gotta wonder, like, okay, I am never gonna get along with you because for whatever, I can't forgive you for what you did. But that doesn't give you the right to banish somebody from the village either. Like, he's already staying well clear of her.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that in this episode he did say what we talked about. Like, he actually said to Carol, please, would you like put in a word for me or something like that?
Yeah.
Which is kind of makes sense. Like, I'm not the same guy you knew. So,
Sure. Yeah.
but yeah, I wonder if we're holding on to that a little bit too long now, the whole death of Glenn. And
Yeah. There is a point. Yeah, where hopefully you could move on to it to some extent.
if just for the story's sake,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, and I guess even just really that's what she did. That's what Carol said at the end. Is now it's off my conscience because it's your decision. Like, you could have done that in the first place. You could have just said, hey, here's your options. Either you leave or you stay here and risk Maggie killing you, but it's not going to be on my hands.
With that in mind, then, like it came across to me that, and I'm glad that Negan vocalized it at the start, saying,
Yeah.
"Is this a Carol taking the reins thing, or is this legit?"
Yeah.
Like, was it actually Carol taking the reins? Because at the end, when she said, "Oh, my conscience is clear now," I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it does come across as there was no vote from the council to ostracize him. It was just, yeah, it's probably not a good idea if you stay here. She'll kill you, so I'm gonna banish you myself.
Yeah, very good point. No, I think it is Carol taking the reins.
It comes across, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She didn't say no either. She just
No.
smirks.
Yeah.
Which might be just a limitation of the COVID episodes because they couldn't have the whole council there and go through that process of the discussion with all the characters. But yeah, maybe we'll go into that more in season 11. Hopefully, once we got the whole cast back. Yeah, it'd definitely be good to see for sure. So anyways, he's out of this cabin. He's seeing vision of old Negan, which was fun. It's one of those things that can be very tropey. And at first I was like, oh, if they do this throughout the whole episode, I don't know. But for the one scene, it worked nicely. And I think, I guess tropes are there for a reason. It's because something works. and it just gets done too much, I suppose, is the only thing. But it's there for a reason, and it shows you something that you wouldn't quite get as easily otherwise.
Gotta ask, would you have preferred it if it was a voice in his head and we didn't see Negan in the chair? Or is that even worse?
That's even worse
Okay.
for me.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, so if he was popping up throughout the whole episode, I would have found that annoying maybe, but just the one scene works really well. I was happy enough.
I don't mind it. I kind of like it.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So that's where we dive into flashback. There's a lot of time jumping in this episode. Did you, Isaac, did you have any trouble keeping track of it?
I think at one point I mentioned, like, how far back are we going? Like, I'm trying to keep all the mental maths going on in my head, and it's like 5 years ago, then 8 months, and then 3 weeks, and then 2 days before that.
It was like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It was one of them. Yeah. Was it confusing at all or easy enough to keep a track of?
I think we were going back in a linear fashion. We weren't jumping forward and backward. I think it was just always going backward.
Yeah, until like at the end, pretty much. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. You, Liam, was that
Same thing. Yeah.
cool? Yeah.
It wasn't too much of a struggle.
No, that's good. And I guess it makes sense that the story wouldn't have quite worked as well if you had shown it in chronological order. Yeah, it just wouldn't have had the same flow to it.
No.
But yeah, so essentially we see that I can't remember exactly the order everything plays out, so we'll just go through a couple of things that happen. We've got Negan and Lucille in the... Is it a shed, cottage, chalet?
It's a trailer, isn't it? Or is it like an actual... No, it is a house, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a house.
Yeah.
House? Yeah, it's a house.
You've been in a house before, man.
Great. In the house. Basement, I suppose they're in. Anyways. And yeah, we establish the whole bag of cancer medicine, whatever it is. I don't know actually what it's called. But they've got the generator, the fridge, and it's going to melt if the generator's off too long. So yeah, I like that little device, and that really the only reason he's turning the generator off is to avoid walkers so that they'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe it would have been cool potentially if fuel was a part of it, but there's only so much time in the episode, and that wasn't really what was important for the character. Yeah, how did you feel about seeing Negan like be kind of not scared of walkers, but like he just couldn't be bothered or like scared of facing them, I suppose. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yes and no. Actually, no.
Okay. Okay.
No, but a different train of thought, so to speak.
Yeah, go for another train of thought if you want.
I probably would have if I wasn't so... I guess you could say thrown. So if I'm not mistaken, in the graphic novel, Lucille dies before the outbreak.
Yeah, that's right.
So, so to begin with, when Negan is like, "Oh, there's only one walker," Lucille, I think, was encouraging him to go out and sort it out. I was sitting there thinking, I thought she died earlier in the comics.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my brain was a little bit preoccupied with that.
Yeah. So just doing something different, which I'm happy with.
Yeah,
always
it was a nice surprise.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure.
Surprise isn't the right word.
Yeah, well, I'll just go through some stuff. I'm sure I'm missing a pile of things, so let me know if there's anything.
I also should have done like a rewatch as well, so I had to refresh but
no, all good. I was hoping to today, but I ran out of time. That's all good. So we see also he's going out. He's trying to find more medicine. And he comes across the trailer, which is where we see Laura again, which I thought was a perfect character to bring back because. At the very least, the studio owed her that for killing her off in such a...
So unceremoniously.
Exactly.
Swept under the rug.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we got that. That was cool. There's obviously the biker gang who's... what do they do? They tie him up, beat him up. They're trying to get the location of where he got the medicine. Those guys, cool. they did the job, I suppose. They're just kind of normal biker guys. Yeah,
so Walking Dead seems to do it they do a good job, like, of these bad guys who you're not sure if they're sincere, if they're like gonna snap at any moment and be really violent. And we first see this guy, and Negan saying, you got to let me go. You're hurting my wife as well. Like, I have to get back to her. And he says like, oh, like that's terrible. My heart goes out to you. That's just awful. And you're like, do you mean that? Are you going to stab a hole in the bag and like let it drip out?
Yeah.
I was just waiting for something like that. And
maybe that's where Negan picked it up, because he did that like halfway through killing Glenn. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I can see this is hard on you guys.
Yeah.
But I did say it, and it just goes straight back to it. It's like, you didn't mean that. Yeah. Well, so one other note, I'm just going to jump all around the place, but is the lack of graphic violence in the episode, which, I suppose for me, I didn't have a problem with it at all. I thought it was tasteful. It did the job, but there is a part of you as well that thinks like, it's Negan. If any episode deserves a bit of over-the-top violence, it would be a Negan episode. Classic Negan, yeah. So, he Lucille's a few people at the end, and there's Walker stuff and all that, but most of it's like off-screen or obscured by something. How did you guys feel about that overall, Liam?
Same boat, actually. Yeah, I mean, I get why they probably chose not to do that, given there was a lot of backlash with that Glenn and Abraham scene, and people said it was far too over the top. And you and I watched that, and we were both pretty like, "Whoa, that was intense."
Yeah,
wish I could have been there, man.
Yeah,
that was an adventure. That was. So I can see why they might have decided to go a bit tamer, I suppose.
Sure.
But I was sitting there thinking, I would love to see him go to town just a little bit more. Like this, we don't get this Negan anymore. This Negan has grown, and it's great to see that growth. But this is the guy we love to hate. Like this violent but charismatic dude. Like, let's give us a little bit more. I was wishing there'd be a little bit more over the top violence.
Yeah, fair.
Which makes me question my sanity a little bit.
I know, right? It sounds crazy. But Isaac, did that stand out to you?
Yeah, same. Like at the very end, when old bikie guy is sitting there, clearly he knows he's going to die, and and Negan's doing the whole monologue thing, and he's just making him listen to every word of it. There is that part of you that it's like, all right, now beat him to death. Go do it.
Yeah.
But then, I think tasteful is a good word to use there, because you don't need it. It's fine to have it be, implied there.
Sure.
That he died very much, even just with him screaming, and then what is it? Like he swings the bat toward the camera and like.
Well, yeah, there was only one really that I maybe thought they should have gone a bit more out with, which I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was the arm of the chair or something was like in front of him, and so it was like very obvious that he swung and it was hidden behind something. So I think if it's to the point where you're just watching it and it's like, oh, they didn't go in for a close-up, that's fine, because that would have been over the top to go in for a close-up. Whereas this, you could tell they were going out of the way to cover it up and to not show it, which just seemed a little bit distracting. And I guess, we've seen the worst side of Negan killing someone we love, but this would be the time to show, we're in his shoes. Yeah, you can show it a bit more. And he's justified because this is an evil guy who's, beating up people who are trying to help other people, It was a bad guy,
I wonder if they did that not so much because of the backlash from that episode previously, but more so because they don't want to highlight that aspect of Negan anymore. Because at the same time, like, we've gotten back to, he's back in Alexandria. Like, do we really want to have like out the last 40 minutes we've seen like him brutally beating people to death again? Like, I wonder if that was to try and keep that positive light on him a bit more.
You're saying because the episode is trying to make us like Negan more?
Well, not even like Negan more. I think we already do.
Sure,
I think, like trying not to really dwell on like the violent brute that he was. Like, he's already had that growth, so trying to, I guess, hide that a little bit.
Okay,
I wonder if that was what they were going for.
That makes sense. And I guess the main purpose of the episode is to show who Negan was before he had to, do all these horrible things and become the Negan that we know. And that's really maybe who he's turning back into now. So we're showing, oh, okay, he does have this side of him that's much more caring, and
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything else, Isaac?
Well, yeah, that's also highlighted right at the start when he first goes out and he meets the doctor and Laura.
Yeah.
And is like, I don't want to shoot you, but I will if I have to. Like, you know, even though he didn't even have any bullets. Like,
which, so he wouldn't have actually. Yeah,
true. So, but even just that speech when he could have been, you know, screaming, "Get out, or I will shoot you," you know, saying, "I don't want to have to shoot you." So, you can tell the type of person that he was going into the monster Negan that we knew, and then you can start to see that kind and caring Negan start coming through in the most recent one that we know.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah, cool. And I guess that's where I'd like to see maybe another episode down the line, even if it's one of the spin-off shows or something like that, sort of showing the next step, which is really what makes Negan so dangerous, is that he thinks he's morally justified in the stuff he's doing. And so just showing the development of that a bit more. But it definitely planted the seeds well here. So anyways, we get an even further flashback, which is one of the few from before the apocalypse. What's the song called?
Back to Black.
Yeah, that one.
Classic.
That's probably
Loved
the
it.
biggest pop song that's been in The Walking Dead so far. Hey,
That's
I
rock
can't
and roll,
think of
baby. That's
anything
rock and roll.
Yeah.
So when that came on, it was like, oh, they're going all out for this one. But yeah, we see Negan in the basement playing video games, trash talking a pile of kids. And he's just gone out and spent a whole pile of money that he really doesn't have. And he's just a loser like before all this stuff happens. And then you find out, I guess, after a bit of time, that he's been cheating on his wife. And, you know, he really wasn't great. So the apocalypse almost... Do you think the apocalypse brought out some of the better sides of him, or was he sorting out that stuff before the apocalypse happened? Do you know? That's a kind of a big question.
I think he was sorting it out beforehand.
Okay.
He said to Lucille later on in the episode, as soon as he found out, it's like he cut everything off with the...
Oh, so it was the Lucille getting cancer that made him put himself together. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Because I was also thinking back to something that I don't know when, but Negan said previously, like ages ago, when he was describing Lucille to someone else, he actually admitted to, you know, that he cheated around on her or something like that.
Yeah.
Treated her really badly. So that was already kind of laid down. I don't know who he was saying that to.
I think Father Gabriel, because when there was the one in season 8 where they're like stuck in the trailer and he's confessing his sins pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I should go back and watch that actually. Yeah, that's cool. So we get a bit of that Negan. We know where the trash talk comes from. Something else that I didn't actually spot it in the episode, but it was in a set photo, is that he's got a baseball cap because I think he was a baseball coach and he obviously worked at the school with kids and stuff. And on the cap, if you look really closely, it says Saviours Athletics, which was, I guess, the team or whatever. So, yeah, that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
What else? Is there anything else major? I guess that's the majority of it. Well, really, it's Lucille dying is sort of the next big point from the flashbacks, at least. Which I really liked how they brought the "You Are So Beautiful to Me" song in there for that, as they seeded it throughout the episode. Is that a nod of disapproval?
No, that was didn't want to cry in front of two other grown men while watching a zombie show, so I was there like trying to blink as much as I could to blink away the tears, but I can't stand it, man. Especially like a spouse. The idea of a spouse dying is
sure.
To the point as well when, you know, they've left the power off accidentally all night, and now her treatments have gone bad because they weren't kept cool, and she says, no, just stay with me here, we'll ride it out, and he refuses. He outright says, no, I won't. I'm not going to do that. And that just like, it just hits me. It knocks the wind straight out of me. And then finding out what she did later, which I was very confused by. She very clearly...
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm in the same boat, I think. Yeah, well, any speculation? Why did she commit suicide then? I guess... Nah, nothing. I'm sure there's something there.
Because how long had he been gone as well?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was a matter of weeks.
Wow. So,
but it might have been 2 or 3 days.
okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of time jumps. Yeah, so no, that's something to come back to, but yeah, who knows?
But it's not like she didn't expect him to return, because she had written on the wall or the door or something, "Please don't leave me like this," or "Please don't leave me this way." So like she expected him to return.
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't really make sense to me.
I don't know. Yeah, there we go.
Would you both have preferred it if she'd actually just died of the cancer and then just like been walking around the house and whatever?
Or even she could stay handcuffed to the bed, or what is that? She'd tied herself up in some way or another, but yeah, she could still do that and just have died of the cancer, I suppose. But yeah, there's got to be a reason that it's in there. I think I've just got to go back and watch the episode. It's been a week. But awesome sequence. Just the music, and then he sets the place on fire, walks out, and now he's Negan. He's got the bat. He's got the jacket. Yeah, so I like seeing that as the point. Right? Well, and then that's where he goes and deals with the biker guys, and well, he saves people. There it is. So yeah, one thing actually that stood out with that is like you were saying before, the stay with me, don't leave, and then he just has to go and find something, or try and find the medicine and all that. I mentioned before I was reading Hillary's book, Rural Diaries, and she's talking about when she was, I think, pregnant with their first son, or maybe it was just after he was born, and Jeffrey, the actual person, wasn't around that much, and there was a night where she just really needed him there, and she said, just stay, but he was like, no, your birthday's coming up, I've got to get you something, and he just had to get out of the house and be doing something, whereas all she wanted was just for him to be there, and it felt very similar here, so I liked sort of a few little things in there of, okay, that's kind of like how they are in real life. So,
wow. Okay.
I think that was obviously early days of Marriage for the Actors. They've sorted a lot of stuff out by now, but yeah, nice little touch. So yeah, that's all I can think of really to touch on for the flashback side of things. But something I really liked in the present timeline was him going and digging up the bat, Lucille.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, well, first of all, that it was buried under so much dirt, that was pretty cool, I thought, because it's been maybe 8-9 years now since it was left there. And would that make sense, Isaac, that after that much time, that dirt and stuff, weeds and things?
I like that you're checking this by me. Like,
yeah, you know more about gardening and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, that's just one of those details that makes you think, oh, yeah, this was thought through. They didn't just get lazy and just have it still lying there. Like, it makes sense.
I would have accepted, weeds and dry grass and all of that growing over it. I guess it wasn't under that much dirt, really. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Very lucky him just digging randomly and finding it.
Yeah.
He was digging for a while, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying different spots. Yeah, and then I love that it just breaks straight away. Like, oh yeah, that's probably what would happen. Like, it's been falling apart. It's probably been completely eaten by white ants and stuff. So a bit unceremonious, but it didn't really need to be much more. I think that was the character. He's moving on, and so he digs it up and it just breaks straight away.
Well, on that as well, I was having to think about that after the episode. Like, what had that bat been through up until this point? Like, it's bonked a good many people and walkers.
Yeah.
At one point, like, Rick sets it on fire and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then, yeah, all, termite in. It's been shot by Rosita.
Yeah.
So, like, it's endured quite a lot if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he goes and burns it just to, sort of say goodbye to the past, I suppose. And even the nice monologue of him sort of talking to Lucille, saying, I'm sorry, I named this stupid bat after you. He's very much coming to terms with reality a lot more now. And I guess realizing maybe even the stuff that he's just been doing to cope. And now he's actually getting to a point of properly moving on rather than just covering everything up by this cult and everything that he's been doing. Yeah. So I guess any thoughts on the whole, or where the character's at now, that whole moving on redemption side of things? You don't have to have any comments, but
I think we're more. There's no real change in my opinion,
yeah.
apart from maybe the smirk at the end where he's sort of coming to terms with, yes, this aspect of me lives on, but I'm not that person anymore. But yeah, that little smirk he gives to Maggie as he walks past.
That was one of my notes.
Yeah,
actually.
cool.
A little bit eerie.
Well, what were your thoughts on the smirk, Isaac? Like, what do you think he was trying to communicate?
Terrible choice.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I think the worst thing, if you've ever, had a disagreement with like a sibling or a friend or whatever, and then along comes the person in charge and says, no, you stop fighting or whatever, and you, the person who did say maybe the wrong thing, get that chance to look back at the person who's getting in trouble, and you just like smile at them, you just smirk at them, and it's like the ultimate diss or like injustice to them, knowing that you've gotten away with something.
Yeah.
And to me, that's exactly what that Negan smile to. It wasn't a smile, it was very much a smirk.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
So for him to look at Maggie and for her to still have like such like vitriol toward him, and then for him to just be smirking back, it's just stoking the fire, really.
Yeah.
He could have done a little head bow, maybe like a little wave or something, but a smirk, like, come on.
Yeah.
It's troublesome is what it is.
Well, I guess part of the question is as well, like, is there anything he can do to earn Maggie's, I don't know, forgiveness or whatever? Like if he tried everything, he said, "Nah, I'm so sorry. Like, what can I do to?"
Well, he
make
hasn't
it
said
better?
that yet.
Which he hasn't, and that's definitely something that you'd hope he would do. But like, even if he did all that, do you think it would make a difference? Especially, I guess that my main hesitation is that he played a part in burning down Hilltop, and like, yes, he's sabotaged the Whisperers and killed Alpha, but he's still done a pile of damage, and it's not like he says, over these last 8 years, I've become a completely new person. It's like, well, not a month ago, you just destroyed my home and like killed a pile of people. So
Was that even Negan?
He was with them. Yeah.
he helped out at least.
I thought I push back on that whenever someone say, "Oh yeah, Negan was with the Whisperers when they did this." Yes, that's true, but it's not like because even what is it like? He gets given a flaming arrow and a bow, and like he's all hesitant and he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's. Am I remembering this wrong? Like
no,
he doesn't even.
You're very right. Yeah, I think the only thing that is like solid is that he helped, like he taught them the tree trick, how to knock down trees and block the roads off so they couldn't escape with the kids and stuff like that.
Right.
And that was when they said, "Oh, Negan must be working with them," because that's definitely his trick. But yeah, no, you make a good point. It wasn't like he was egging them on or anything necessarily.
Yeah.
Actually, he was mercy killing too, I think, wasn't he? In
Yeah.
the follow-up episode. So I remember Alpha or Beta was like, let them turn.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
that's right. Yeah, anyways, but I guess so. I can't remember where I read it. One interpretation at least that I read, or it might have been one of the producers talking about it, was that was him essentially saying, like, the smoke was, "Hey, I've earned my spot here. You might not like it, but I deserve to be here, and like you can't do anything about it, or what are you going to do about it? Not necessarily that you can't do anything, but you know, he's got nothing to lose really. And I guess that's maybe just the point is this is mine. I'm claiming it. That's that. Like deal with it, sort of thing.
Claimed.
Yeah, which isn't the approach I would go for, but I guess it makes sense with the character. Definitely, I agree with you, Isaac. It would be nice to see him, you know, full on apologize, say, hey, how can I make this better? Is there anything I can do? And then if that doesn't work, then you can take another route maybe, but try that first.
Yeah.
Neagy. Oh, well.
I got 2 other points for you.
Yeah, great.
Just if it's an appropriate time.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Talking about metaphors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a silly one, but the screw coming loose in the chair.
Okay.
I wondered if that could be some kind of metaphor for, like, you know, someone says you're crazy, you got a couple of screws loose type thing. And that was very apparent with, you know, the Bikey member who's a bit unhinged there, but then also Negan himself from the stories he tells from back when he was a gym teacher all the way through up to, well, pretty much that whole episode, really. Yeah. Just being, you know, you're not really all there. There's something psychologically breaking down in you. And I kind of thought, yeah, they're pairing it up with this screw.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Coming loose.
Screws coming loose.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
nothing to add to that. That's great.
Lastly, Laura, pretty much, the inclusion of her in this. It was cool to see her. It was fun to see her, especially like her introduction of her whacking Negan with the bat was kind of funny. But I don't like where she started out from, in a way, because we see her in the Savior group being quite a jerk to a lot of people, really.
Yeah, sure.
And to see her start off in this episode as, you know, I'm the friendly assistant or sister or daughter or whatever it was. I forget. But, you know.
Well, yeah, that he said father and daughter, but it seemed no, it didn't look like it. Who knows?
But yeah, to see her be this, you know, helpful, caring person. Yeah, we'll help you out with these supply, and then to become a savior, just like Negan. Maybe like you, I'm just looking for that bridging episode to see.
Right. Yeah.
How did you get there?
Yeah. Good point. Definitely.
Yeah.
And what happened to the other guy?
It seemed a bit of a leap. I maybe would have liked if she was a bit more brutish, maybe, to start off with.
Sure, yeah. Or like the dad's the nice guy and then she, like she's, you know, why are you keeping him alive?
Yeah.
He's dangerous. Get rid of him.
Or like she hits him with the bat and she doesn't care about it at all. You know, she doesn't apologize. She doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Absolutely. Yeah. Any other comments on episode?
I actually kind of liked it that Lucille broke the bat. I liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've been thinking for the longest time, I just want him to get Lucille back because he did make that sort of makeshift. Yeah, I'm not even going to call it Lucille. That other one that did he do that after or before he?
Well, Brandon made it, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was like, I just needed a minute to wrap your gift, remember?
Oh, he did, yes. Yeah, but like after that, I'm like, please don't let this become the new Lucille. It's just not the same.
Sure.
So I'm glad he got the bat back. But as soon as it broke, I'm like, yep, perfect.
Yeah.
Not only because it's been in the ground for 8 or however many years, but like to show the character growth. Yes, he went out looking for it, but smash the bat. And, yep, cool. Move on.
I'm looking forward to his next weapon of choice, seeing what that's going to be.
Oh, yeah, true.
I did want to ask you though, Liam.
Got a shovel a whole lot of the time.
Maybe.
Yeah.
War shovels are definitely a thing.
Yeah.
How did you feel seeing him wrap Lucille up in the barbed wire so easily?
So filthy. I'm not even kidding. It took me hours. So long. I had to making my own. I had big metal staples that I would try and hammer in.
Yeah.
Well, not try. I did hammer in, and that was just like trying to bend the barbed wire around the bat, hold it in place, and then hammer in the staples was a nightmare. So in the end,
not prick yourself with the barbed wire.
Yeah, I had to get like special safety gloves that were sort of pierce resistant to a degree. And after a while, I just gave up. So I bought a staple gun and would like just staple parts of it in. and the staples were really flimsy. So after I'd staple it in roughly, I'd then hammer in the proper staples, and then just pick out the little mini staples. Yeah, I kid you not, it took me like, if I remember correctly, like 5 hours. I think I watched like 2 movies while I was doing it. It was nuts.
Liam in The Walking Dead. Hang on, I just need a couple of hours to wrap your gift.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Only a select number of people in the world will know that or see it and go, that's not realistic. But first-hand experience.
Yep.
One thing I will add to that is we see Negan clip the wire off like a fence in a straight line, right? The wire that you were using, was it bundled up already? Like, was it already wanting to do like a figure 8 thing or like a bundle shape?
It came, I bought it from Bunnings. I still got plenty of it. And it just came in a big, like, coiled up.
Oh, so it was
pack.
coiled up. Yeah.
I wonder if that would have made it more difficult for you.
I think it helped because it gave me a little bit of curvature to work with.
I
Okay.
thought the one in the episode was coiled up. But
Was it?
I could be remembering wrong.
I remember him clipping it from the front.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like there's a
okay.
safe, yeah.
No, probably not. My bad. Probably not. I'm not standing by.
Too late.
But it begs the question, like, can you get, like, is there different tiers of barbed wire where I suppose the strip itself isn't as, like, isn't as, like, rigid, a bit more flexible.
Maybe.
I got an idea on that. We'll discuss after the show.
Okay, cool.
We're going to make another
Because
bat.
I have an aluminium bat, which I really like.
Hey,
I've got a lot of barbed wire.
this is getting dangerous. All right, any other thoughts?
We
Or
need
happy?
a welding machine.
Yep. All right. Well, let it just give us a yell if you think of anything else. We can jump around a bit. A few announcements that have been made as far as upcoming season 11 stuff. We've got the date, which is August 22nd. That's for America, so it'll be August 23rd here.
23rd of August here.
Yeah. Is that the proper way to say it?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Only America puts the month first.
Oh, true. Yep, true. 23rd of August, 2021. That's the right way to do it. Okay. 23rd of... Now I'm questioning it. and it's going to be 8 episodes. They're going to do an 8-episode stretch. So I guess that implies they'll do 3 lots of 8 episodes for season 11, which I'm pretty happy with.
And then break for Christmas, or?
Yeah, well, it'll be breaking earlier than they usually do because they usually start in October. It's not super far off, but yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how they pace it out.
The final season, hey?
Yeah. So definitely looks like it'll be a roughly end of 2022.
Yep.
Okay, we're getting tired now. End of 2022 will be sort of the last episode. It'll be somewhere around there, most likely. Which, there we go. Are you happy with splitting it into 3? You looks like you'd maybe prefer a different structure.
Yes and no. I mean, we've talked about this before. The wait and the excitement while we build up to it is, it's fun.
Yeah.
But then also, we're going to finish this 8th episode and be like, come on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it gives and takes from you. It's bittersweet.
Sure, yeah. And I guess it has been proven to work over time. They've always done that 8-episode stretches. I think it's enough. Like 5 seems too short. It's like, it's over already. But 8 is like a solid amount. You get a good bit.
Yeah.
And I do like the idea of just having a break because you do get fatigue from stuff if it goes on for too long. So it'll definitely help to keep that excitement going and you'll have always something to look forward to rather than just getting it all at once. So yeah, I'm definitely keen for that. That'll be good. And Angela Kang, in one interview she did, I'll read out a quote that she said. She said, "The stakes will be high. We'll see more zombies, tons of action, intriguing new stories, never before seen locations, and our groups together in one community for the first time, trying to rebuild what the Whisperers took from them. which that sounds great to me.
Woodbury, anybody?
She said never before seen locations, not old locations you haven't seen in a while. But that's something I'm actually very excited about. Just the idea of all the communities in one location, because that was maybe just when the show went downhill for a little bit. For me, at least, was when everyone kind of split up. Not necessarily because of that, but you know, season 5 was the whole group together on the road, and then you start getting all these different communities, and everyone's all over the place. So I like for the final season that we're going to have them all together, at least for a chunk of it. So yeah, but yeah, any thoughts on just that in general?
More zombies.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if they'll take a similar route to previous seasons, though, where it's like, yeah, we're all together in one community, but we're still going to split the community into, like, you know, 3 different storylines per episode or something like that, or 2 maybe. So even though they're all together in the same place, I bet you we're still only going to get a couple of actors or characters per episode.
Potentially, hey.
You know, like Daryl's right here with us, but he's in his house in Alexandria at the moment, you know? So we're not going to see him for this episode. So for me, it's kind of like, why even really bother when you're gonna? I think that's my guess. It makes sense in the final season to bring everybody together, like take a bow together.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they will do that. They haven't tended to in the past.
Maybe with the Reapers, perhaps. Like if they're all in the one place, because I agree we'll definitely get that whole. Yeah, Daryl's here. He's just in his home, so we're not going to see him. But in the case of, I don't know, maybe the Reapers show up and everyone is at this one location, so we do get to see everyone get up and make this final stand or something.
Yeah, and here's hoping they just, you know, give it a good bit of budget for the last season and go all out so you can have everyone just together, and yeah, that'll be cool. One episode I really liked in season 10 was Silence the Whisperers, which a lot of it revolved around Lydia getting beaten up, and then Negan saves her, and they're deciding what to do with him. And Daryl's just going around through Alexandria just talking to a pile of different people. And that I could see something like that just working, where you're not necessarily seeing every character in the exact same place in one shot, but like you get that sense that they're all together, and you see the council meeting, and then Daryl walks over to this house and there's this character there. It just feels like everyone's together and part of the same story more. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Rant over.
Well said.
So that pretty much sums it up, I think. We're going to go into a little bit of exclusive plugged-in content. Now what this is pretty much, we used to have Patreon for a little bit, but what they do is they take a big chunk of your money. So we're like...
We need to stop dissing Patreon, though. Like, get in trouble.
The Patreon's good.
Great.
But like Pedro Pascal says in Wonder Woman, which I haven't seen, it could be better.
Yeah.
I don't know how he says it because I've only seen the memes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there we are.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Yeah,
No, you didn't at all. All good. So yeah, essentially, if you'd like to support the show, we really appreciate it. What the money goes towards is just supporting the costs that go into this. We pay subscriptions to upload the episodes. We just bought a new desk, which is amazing. And that just helps us to up the quality of what we produce, the microphones and all that. So that's where the money goes. It doesn't go towards a Lamborghini, however much that would be nice.
But if you want to get us one, we're not going to argue.
100%.
Toyota GT for me, please.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with Isaac.
Lamborghini for me.
Fair enough. So anyways, turnsounds.com and click on plugged in if you'd like to be a part of it, and we give back to you by giving you some exclusive content and also listening to your thoughts and suggestions with an even higher priority. We listen to your thoughts and suggestions anyway, but especially if you plug in and you want to say, hey, I'd like to hear more of this or less of this, then we'll 100% take that into account and do the sort of stuff that you like to listen to. So...
And shout out to that one guy who listens to us while doing workouts.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
that. Shout out to you.
We did get an Instagram Actually, I think it might have been a girl.
Shout out to that girl.
Yeah, I'll find it for next time and give them a shout out. But yeah, there was someone who put that on their story.
I can get to work right now and track them down.
Thank you.
Where will I find this?
Yeah, it'll take too long. Anyway, yeah. So thanks so much for listening. And if you'd like to hear the rest of what we're going to talk about, Isaac's got something which he brought up earlier. Can you tease it at all?
Yeah, so this is a complete surprise to my other faithful friends here. I got to thinking the other day, we know a lot of the characters from Walking Dead, and there are a lot of the time that their last names are paired up with their first name. You got, the Daryl Dixons and the Rick Grimes of the world. But I wanted...
How is Rick Grimes connected?
What?
Oh, okay. I get what you said. Yep. Sorry. Go on. I'm confused.
You stopped me dead in my tracks.
I thought you meant they started with the same letter, Daryl Dixon.
Oh, no.
Is the Rick Grimes?
No alliteration here.
Okay.
But yeah, so we know Rick Grimes, we know the Daryl Dixons of the world.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of other characters whose last names I never even knew. And I want to kind of challenge the both of you, see if we can...
I like it.
Yeah, so
I like this.
If you feel up to the challenge, maybe you can plug in at turnsounds.com and see what it's all about.
Nice.
Extra stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Alrighty. Yeah. Well, thank you for listening, and make sure you head to turnsounds.com and plug in if you'd like to hear more. So we will catch you next time. We'll do probably a few shows during the break here and there, maybe when a trailer comes out or something.
Nice.
And yeah, otherwise we'll be back doing this weekly for season 11 on August. No, the 23rd of August.
23rd.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Adios.